All right then, fellas.
All right, the questions really that we were just going to ask is, first off, the general question is, do you think you're a good person?
For the most part.
For the most part.
I have my moments, but everybody does.
Right. So, and we've already acknowledged before, even the filming or anything, about the Ten Commandments, and you're definitely very familiar with those, I'm sure. Can you name any of them by chance?
Hopefully I can name all of them.
All of them.
Let's see. First one is, thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Okay.
Remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. Third one is, do not take the Lord thy God's name in vain. I think that's three. Honor thy mother and thy father. Let's see.
Sabbath was the fourth.
Sabbath was fourth. No graven images.
There you go. That's
There's
number two.
Then you've got all the don'ts. Thou shalt not lie. Thou shalt not covet. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Covet, kill, adultery. Honor thy father and mother. 7, 8. Listen to. Okay, we've got no other gods before me, no graven images, remember the Sabbath, keep it holy, honor thy father and thy mother, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet, bear false witness, and I said another one, I missed it.
It's okay. You know most of them, so that's the important thing. Do you feel like you keep the Ten Commandments on a regular basis?
I try as best I can. Through my experience, I found out that you can't keep them all.
Right.
There's just no possible way. The only way you can keep all 10 commandments is if you're a perfect person.
Right.
And there's nobody here on earth that's perfect, except Christ himself. And although I feel that he's here, he's not physically in front of me where I can see him. So that's just one of those things. But I think the whole purpose behind the Ten Commandments was to teach people that you can't. I mean, people said, what do we got to do to be perfect? What do we got to do to get to heaven? And God said, follow these rules. And people try, and they can't.
Right. And
that was the whole purpose, is to show you can't. Without the grace of God, you can't possibly keep all 10.
Right.
At some point in time, if you think you can keep all 10, then you're lying to yourself. You just can't. I mean, I don't care how hard you try as a human. If you see a really good-looking girl at some point in time, and you're going, man, the minute you think that, you're done.
You're done. Because lust is adultery in the eyes of Christ, right?
I mean, if you think it, you might as well have done it. Because, the sin is not actually against that person, it's against yourself. And at that point, you just have to admit it. Look, I've done it, and you have to ask forgiveness.
So we both can agree, I imagine you've told a lie before.
Many. And whoppers.
And if you tell a lie at one point, what would that make you?
Maybe a lie.
Yeah. And how about, stealing something? You ever stole anything?
When I was a little kid, yeah. And I mean, a lot of people will say, a pencil from work.
Right.
If it belongs to work, it still belongs to work, and that's stealing. You may not think it is at the time, but it still is.
Right. That's always the thing I heard is even if you commit a murder, it takes one murder to make you a murderer, and so there's no difference between any of the other sins. Once that stains on us, we're stained with that. That's what we're guilty of, and it says in James that it only takes one sin to separate us from God as far as His perfect standard. And so, what you're saying is perfect. What you've been saying all along. So if I was to ask you today, if you were to die right now and you were to stand before God, would you go to heaven or hell? Going to heaven. Going to heaven. Great. And so, what's your reasoning for that? What makes you say that?
My salvation in Christ.
salvation in Christ. Awesome. That is the whole point of why we're around asking is just to. I like to use this analogy always. It's like this. It's a courtroom example, and it's very consistent with like the New Testament uses. Since He paid the penalty for our sin, it's like we're standing before a judge, and we say he committed some murder or something, and we're on the bench about to be prosecuted, and the judge says, "Well, what do you have to say for yourself?" And most people's general response is going to be, "Judge, please just forgive me. You're a good judge. Can you just let me go?" That's going to be most people's response to God. But God being the most pure and just judge of them all, you picture a just judge here on earth. If you were to stand up and say, "Judge, just please let me go," obviously the judge isn't going to let you go. He's going to say, "Hey, you got to pay your fine here." And so your bail's like $1 million, or who knows what they jack the bail up to. But when all of a sudden, when he puts that bail, when you're being drug off to prison because you can't pay your fine, somebody steps forward and pays the fine for you so that you can walk free. That's exactly what Christ did for us in relationship to our sin. Like, we were sinful, it separated us from God. There was nothing that we could do to make atonement or repay for it. And so our ultimate judgment should be hell. But Christ, his sacrifice allowed us to have life eternal. And so that's exactly why we're taking this trip and talking to people. It's just, and you said it better than I could ever. So, but thank you so much for your time.
It was my pleasure.
Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.